Just think about this for a second. These mountains have survived ice ages, massive continental shifts, and pretty much all of human history. They were here long before the Himalayas even existed, making them one of the oldest geological features on the entire planet. But now, this ancient guardian, the Aravalli mountain range, is facing its biggest threat ever. And that threat is us.
Okay, take a look at these two images. On one side, you've got the Aravallis as they should be, lush, green, and teeming with life. And on the other, you see a barren, lifeless scar gouged into the earth by mining. This isn't just a stark contrast in a photo. This is the real-time story of a mountain range being erased right before our eyes. So let's dig into what we're actually about to lose.
To really get why this is such a huge deal, we first need to understand what the Aravallis truly are, because they are so much more than just a line of hills you see on a map. Let's get our bearings. This range is ancient. I mean, it was formed over 670 million years ago. That's an almost unimaginable number. It stretches for nearly 700 kilometers, acting like a weathered but absolutely vital spine for northwest India. Sure, they were once mighty, towering mountains that time has worn down, but their importance has only grown. You see, this range is basically a life support system for tens of millions of people. It's a giant green wall that literally holds back the Thar Desert, stopping its sands from swallowing up fertile land. It acts as the green lungs for some of the most polluted cities in the world in the National Capital Region. Its rocks work like a massive sponge, soaking up monsoon rains and refilling the groundwater everyone depends on. It's also a highway for wildlife and plays a huge role in directing the life-giving monsoon rains. It's a true workhorse.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? The Aravallis aren't some passive landscape just sitting there. No, they're an active, breathing life support system. And that system is now under critical strain. So how did we get here? Well, this ancient system is being deeply wounded. And the cause of those wounds? Well, it's entirely man-made. The causes are a familiar and frankly toxic cocktail. You've got cities sprawling out of control, relentless mining, a lot of it illegal, for construction materials. You've got widespread deforestation and a messy patchwork of laws that just fails to see the range as the single connected ecosystem that it is. Okay, get ready for this number. 31. That's not just some statistic. That is the number of entire hills in Rajasthan that have been quarried right out of existence. They are simply gone, vanished, as if they were never there. And the scale of this is just staggering. Between 1975 and 2019, nearly 8% of the entire Aravalli Hill area just disappeared, wiped clean off the map. And in that same period, the forest cover in the central part of the range, it plummeted by a mind-boggling 32%. The green lungs of the region are being systematically deflated. And you can see right here where all that nature is gone. As the forests and natural land shrink, human settlements have almost tripled in size, and the land scarred by mining just keeps on growing. We are physically replacing the mountain's natural form with our own concrete footprint. And this is what it looks like on the ground. This isn't a natural canyon carved by a river over millions of years. Nope, this is a man-made wound, a quarry pit that serves as a tombstone for a hill that was once alive and green. You know, the destruction of a mountain isn't just some localized event. It's like a sickness that spreads, and the symptoms are now becoming dangerously clear for the entire region.
The Aravallis have always been that critical barrier holding back the Thar Desert. But now, with at least 12 major gaps, literally blasted open by mining, that barrier is breached. Sand, dust, and hotter winds are just pouring through, pushing the desert eastwards, straight towards Delhi.
So you might be thinking, okay, this is an abstract environmental problem, but it's not. The death of this mountain has direct, tangible consequences for millions of people. Let's break down exactly what this means. First, the air you breathe gets worse. All that desert dust has to go somewhere. Second, water becomes more and more scarce. The deep mining is literally puncturing natural underground reservoirs, the aquifers, stopping them from refilling. Rivers that were born in these hills are now effectively dead. And as the homes for leopards, hyenas, and hundreds of bird species shrink, where do you think they go? They're forced into our cities, which leads to conflict. It's a total systemic collapse.
You might see a pit like this one, filled with water, and think, oh, look, a new lake. But that is a complete deception. What you're actually seeing is groundwater bleeding out from a punctured aquifer. It is a sign of a critical injury to the water system, not a sign of life. But for decades, a battle has been waged to try and save what's left. It's a really tough fight, and it's happening in courtrooms, in policy debates, and on the ground, thanks to some incredibly dedicated people.
Honestly, the legal fight has been long and really frustrating. Restrictions and bans have been in place since the 90s, but illegal mining just kept going. Things got really weird in late 2025 when a new definition based purely on a hill's height threatened to open up huge areas to destruction. It caused such an uproar that the Supreme Court had to quickly pause its own ruling and go back to the drawing board. And this really gets to the heart of the problem. For decades, nobody could agree on a clear definition of what legally counts as a Aravalli. This ambiguity has created massive loopholes that have been exploited over and over again. We desperately need a definition that's based on ecology, on the entire system, not just some arbitrary height on a map. But there is hope, and there is a path forward. There's the incredibly ambitious Aravalli Green Wall project, which aims to create a massive 1,400-kilometer-long green belt. That, combined with much stronger legal protections and getting local communities actually involved in the restoration, could begin to heal these wounds. So it all comes down to this. This ancient range has endured for an almost unimaginable stretch of time. It has proven it can stand up to the forces of nature. The only question left, the one that really matters now, is whether it can possibly survive us.